హలో గాయ్స్ అందరూ ఎలా ఉన్నారు? నేనైతే ఇక్కడ చాలా బాగున్నాను. చెప్పాను గదా! ఇప్పుడు జపాన్‌లో సమ్మరు చాలా వేడిగా ఉంది. చూసారు గదా! చెమట ఎట్లా గారిపోతూ ఉన్నాయో. ఈ వీడియో యొక్క మెయిన్ అజెండా ఏంటి అంటే ఏ ఎవరైతే జపాన్‌లో చాలా సంవత్సరాల నుంచి వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారో వాళ్ళ ఎక్స్‌పీరియన్సెస్‌ని షూట్ చేసి ఛానెల్‌లో అప్‌లోడ్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ ఆపర్చునిటీస్ ఎలా ఉన్నాయి? మళ్ళా నెక్స్ట్ ఇక్కడ జాపనీస్ లాంగ్వేజ్ యొక్క ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఏంటి? మళ్ళా నెక్స్ట్ వాళ్ళ ఎక్స్‌పీరియన్సెస్‌ని మనం క్యాప్చర్ చేసి అప్‌లోడ్ చేయడం వల్ల ఎవరైతే మన ప్లేస్‌లో ఆంధ్రాలో గాని, తెలంగాణలో ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళు ఎవరైతే జపాన్‌కి రావాలనుకుంటున్నారో ఈ వీడియోస్ యొక్క ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఖచ్చితంగా ఉపయోగపడుతుంది అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఛానెల్‌కి ఇంకా ఎవరైతే సబ్స్క్రైబ్ కాలేదో ప్లీజ్ డూ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ టు మై ఛానెల్. యాక్చువల్లీ నా కొలీగ్‌తో మాట్లాడి ఇవాళ ఈ వీడియో క్రియేట్ చేయడం జరుగుతూ ఉంది. అండ్ తన ఎక్స్‌పీరియన్సెస్ మళ్ళా నెక్స్ట్ ఇక్కడ జపాన్‌లో వర్క్ చేయడానికి కావాల్సిన క్వాలిఫికేషన్స్ మొత్తం తన ద్వారానే మనం విందాము. ఓకే. థాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ నర్మదా సన్ ఫర్ యాక్సెప్టింగ్ మై రిక్వెస్ట్.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So before proceeding ahead, I would like to introduce you to my audience. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Narmada. I'm from Chennai and I've been here in Japan for the last 2 years. I am working as a Scrum Master and I also used to work as a developer. So here's that about myself. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Narmada san. How long you have worked in India?
I was working in India for 3 years
Okay.
and then I came to Japan in the last 2 years I've been here.
So how is your experience in Japan?
It was really good actually. So I've been learning Japanese since 2021. So I
Okay.
was also trying to learn the culture of Japan,
Okay.
which gave me a rough idea of how Japan is going to be. But coming here actually gave me the real picture of how far it was to of what I learned, and it is really good.
Wow, understood. And how important is Japanese language in your job?
I think it would be really important.
Hmm.
I know there are a lot of opportunities where you can manage without Japanese as well, but for the role which I am doing, I have a lot of talk with the customers face to face and the business stakeholders who are completely Japanese. So they would prefer all my communication to be in Japanese. So I think it would be really helpful if you know that. And also in general to survive in Japan, right? It makes things very easier if you know Japanese.
Yes, I understand that you're currently working as a Scrum Master, but in your previous experience is also on business analysis and the development. So how this transition happened between the business analysis to developer from developer to the Scrum Master?
Yes, so I would like to talk about that. Thank you. So, in the previous company which I was in, the mentor which I had gave me a lot of exposure to the things which I wanted to try on. So I started as a business analyst, which gave me an idea of how the application works. With that, I ended up becoming a developer. So I was doing hands-on experience in that application. So with all that knowledge, I was able to become a Scrum Master so that I could help with the project execution. So these kind of things actually help you know how to run a project in an overall basis. But I think individually as well, you can learn what to do in each role. But I just got lucky with a good mentor.
Understood. So your day-to-day job involves having the stakeholder interaction at the same time making the developers to work with the business objective. So how difficult it is to manage in your job?
That you exactly said all the things which are going there. So there are developers who understand what has to be done versus the stakeholders who want what has to be done in the business. So I have to bridge the gap so that both the parties understand what they're doing. So there I need to understand functionally what is happening. Plus I also need to understand Japanese. So these things integrate and make my job better.
So as you have already worked as a business analyst as well as the developer, let's talk about the business analyst here. So what is the scope of business analysts in Japan industry?
There is a huge demand for business analysts here. Recently, in the last few months, the most of the HR contacts which I'm in touch with, they've been saying that a lot of insurance, mostly in the insurance domain, there's a huge demand for business analysts.
Okay.
Because there's multiple applications which are there. I don't want to go into detail, but there are the customers in Japan, right? There is a huge demand for insurance, and that thing needs a lot of business analysis to get the flow carried on. So yes, as you said, there's a demand for it.
So if someone wants to become a business analyst in the insurance industry, what would be their average starting base package in Japan?
I think it would start from 3 million yen to at least 7 million based on the experience. That will differ, and also based on the complexity you're dealing with. But yeah, I think it's a good start.
Understood. And also, I would like to know more about your development experience as well. What is the scope of the developers in Japan IT industry?
So I was doing a full stack developing role in the previous company, and
So sorry to interrupt you. So for my audience, what is the meaning of full stack development?
okay. So as full stack, you'll be covering front end and back end experience of an application or basically whatever you're working on. And for the front end, I was mostly working with Angular, and then in the back end, I was working with Java. So that is what I was part of.
So Angular and Java is being widely used in all the Japanese IT industries, right?
Most of it, we can say that, yes.
Okay. So now let's talk about this transition to the Scrum Master now. So from the developer, how this transition you were able to make it to the Scrum Master from the developer position?
Um, Okay, so as I said, the business analyst and the developer experience made me become a Scrum Master easier. But currently, in the Scrum Master role, which I am doing, I'm also helping the new Scrum Masters get to know an idea of how things work. So there are multiple courses where you can work on, like Scrum Master, certifications are there, professional Scrum Master. There's multiple courses which we can let the viewers know what works. So there are straight up courses which let you know what Scrum Master does. It's mainly about project execution and connecting people so that you get the execution going smoothly.
Understood. And what is the scope of the Scrum Masters in Japan?
Yes. Okay. So in Japan, multiple IT companies are having two ways of working. One is called as agile and one is called as waterfall. So there are multiple companies which want to bring forth agile into their company process. And when it comes to agile, you need Scrum Masters. It's
Okay.
that simple.
So how much will be the average base package for the bilingual Scrum Masters?
Bilingual, yes, he highlighted the main point. The bilinguals have a lot of visibility here, so that will start from I think 7 to 13 million yen. I've seen offers going up to 13 million yen. Yeah.
Okay. So how much Japanese is required? Because I can see that we have the levels like N5, N4, N3, N2, and N1.
Yes.
So for becoming the bilingual Scrum Master, what is the expectation from the IT industry?
I think you would need at least N2.
N2.
Yes, it is
N2 level
actually
communication, right?
N2 level JLPT communication is necessary. There's a lot of complex things which happen, and we need to be there to understand to bridge that gap. So yeah.
Understood. So now,
Sorry, I started with N3 though, and I was able to catch up to N2. So
okay, so you don't have the N2 certification, but you have the N3 certification, but you can have the conversational ability till N2.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Understood. And also, I can see a lot of contractual positions also in all the IT industries in Japan. So, what will be the main difference between the full-time opportunity and the contractual opportunity in the Japan?
Okay. So there were a lot of restrictions when we were in a contract kind of position because I was as well. So when you work in a full-time opportunity, you have a lot of scope, by the way. You can switch to multiple domains within your organization. You have that freedom. But when it comes to contract, there's multiple rules and regulation. And like unless until you fulfill that contract period, you'll be stuck with what you're working on. So there's not much scope on what you can experiment with. That's the only difference.
Understood. And you have worked in India and also currently you're working in Japan. What are the biggest professional differences that you have seen between the countries' working style?
There is no shade to any country right now, but Indian people's mentality is that they're really knowledgeable, and I'm so glad I'm coming part of that community. But in Japan, they really respect time and they really respect the commitment which we give. So when you set an expectation that I'm going to be delivering A, they expect nothing less than A. So I think they really fulfill the promises in Japan. So that is the main difference which we see here.
Yes. So as I understand that you're working in Japan from last 2 years, what are the biggest professional challenges that you have faced in Japan?
Okay. So at first, I was trying to mingle within the team. There's a lot of the population of Japanese versus Indian. There was a ratio of it. So I was trying to learn the culture because from India, you can think probably this is the culture, but when you're actually first-hand experiencing it, there's a different feeling, right? So I was trying to blend into that culture. There is a kind of overworking culture here. So I was trying to make sure that I try to balance my time and not just fall into that trap. So yeah, those kind of things were happening.
Okay. And what does your typical work day looks like?
Okay. So I travel. I start. I start to office at like 8, and then I reach by 9. I make sure to reach by 9, and yeah, it's just calls and talking to stakeholders, and I think the onshore offshore balance happens in IT companies here. So since we deal with the Japanese resources here onshore, we also have some Indian resources here, of course. So like Hafsa-san. So and we have offshore team in India. So to balance that, we'll be super busy in the afternoon because you know the time zone. So in the second half, we'll be super busy. And I try to end my work by 6, but some days, yeah, it just goes up than that.
Okay, so I would like to understand the salary growth and the work-life balance in Japan. So let's say, as you have an experience in already working in India, so how much would be the salary growth if you make the comparison with India in Japan?
Right. Okay. There is a huge exponential difference, and I don't want to comment on the numbers,
Yeah.
but so the living in Japan versus the living in India will be different, right? So again, saying Japan, but let's say Tokyo. Now we're in Tokyo. Tokyo cost of living is pretty high. So based on the designation and based on the work exposure you're getting, it depends. So, but compared to India and Japan, yeah, Japan is way better. Yeah.
Understood. So, what advice do you want to give for the newcomers who want to come and work in IT industry in Japan? So, what are the three main characteristics that are required in a person to come and work in Japan?
I think it would be first interest.
Hmm.
So if you're willing to, okay, if you're willing to experience new culture and explore Japan in such and also get used to the people, then I think it'll be very easy. Also the willingness to learn the language to a level. I won't say just straight up aim for N1 or N2. It's okay. At least as long as you try to learn the language, talk to the people, locals in the shop, it'll be very nice. And three, I think having a bit of research before coming here about the work culture and in general the Japanese culture and what you want to work on, I think that makes things easier, clear.
Okay, how dynamic the job market in Japan if you make the comparative analysis with India?
Dynamic. I'm sorry, like dynamic as in.
Like how good the job market is in Japan?
Okay. Yes. I think compared to India, in Japan, as long as you are there in a company for almost 1 year, right, you're still able to switch easily, and you have a lot of opportunities. And in fact, even if you're coming from one specific designation, as long as you let the people know that you are interested to look for other roles with the current experience, they're still open to giving you a lot of exposure and other scope.
Okay, if someone wants to become the Scrum Master, do you recommend any certifications for them?
Yes. For Scrum Master, the basic certifications like Scrum Master certification, there's a CSM, Certified Scrum Master. That is a certification. This also called as Professional Scrum Master certification. So the CSM has a cost, but the PSM is free.
Okay.
And you can study that for free. You can find the materials online, and just to get that certification existing, you will have that cost, but then it is cheaper than the CSM. Both are really good, but as long as you have that, you'll have some credibility on what you're working on.
Okay, so do the companies have the reimbursement option
Yes.
after you clear the certification?
Yes. I'm actually trying to get mine.
Okay.
As in, I was trying to take another certification,
Okay.
and the company has the option for reimbursement, so I'll be doing that.
Understood. So thank you so much for sharing your experience, Narmada-san. And this would be really helping for the people who want to come and work in Japan as a developer or as a business analyst or a Scrum Master. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. సో దట్స్ ఆల్ ఫర్ టుడే గాయస్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ వాచింగ్ మై వీడియో. నేను ఇటువంటి వీడియోస్తో మోర్ కంటెంట్ అప్లోడ్ చేయడానికి నేను నా బెస్ట్ ఇస్తాను. అండ్ ఇంకా ఛానల్కి ఎవరైతే సబ్స్క్రైబ్ కాలేదో ప్లీజ్ డూ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ టు మై ఛానల్ అండ్ స్టే ట్యూన్ ఫర్ ద మోర్ అప్డేట్స్. హ్యావ్ ఎ నైస్ డే. బాయ్.